Hi Lina, how are you?
Hi, Nidhi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too. So, I just want to know, have you gone to the website and the job profile which we have shared with you?
Yes, I have tried doing my own research on the organization as well. Uh,
Okay, good. Okay, and how you feel about the job profile?
it's good one. It's something that I have done. So I think I feel confident of doing this.
Okay, okay, good, good. So, I just want to know, in current situation, as you are aware about, currently the recruitment is very difficult and it's very, we can say, in this competitive environment. So I just want to know that is there anything which you are implemented, any differentiating strategy to improve the recruitment or to improve the hiring number?
Yeah, depending on which position are we hiring for, strategy can be devised. So if we
Mhm.
are hiring for, say, freshers or trainees or
Mhm.
even trainees, then freshers or campus works better, you know.
Mhm.
And then we can always focus on which campuses we want to go to. For an example, in our current organization, we hire IHMs or IIHMs,
Mhm.
Indian Institute of Hotel Management, freshers. So then we have tied up with all those IHMs across India, and
Okay.
we do campuses once in a year.
Okay. Pro-COVID, post-COVID, is there any change you implemented in the recruitment strategy, basically? Because there are so many things, no shows are there. So from that point of view, what kind of changes you have implemented in your organization in
We
recruitment side?
introduced one is while we actually do interviewing, shortlisting,
Mm-hmm.
the process we are more cautious about it. We do Google meet a person if it's possible to meet a person in person while offices have started working now.
Mm-hmm.
That. And once shortlisted and offered, till the person actually joins us, we have introduced gamification where the candidate stays involved with us till he joins.
Okay. Can you please share some incident, some kind of, we can say, examples through which you can just give us idea about what kind of things you have done for to avoid the no-show specifically?
The gamification, is it?
Yeah, gamification or any other thing. Can you please give some
We work on a
details on that?
platform called Zoho, if you've heard of
Uh-huh.
Zoho Recruit.
Uh-huh.
Wherein once shortlisted, we have made a platform where a candidate is pushed questions till he joins us every day.
Okay.
Few questions where he's involved with us.
Mm-hmm.
Questions when he attempts to answer.
Mm-hmm.
If he's answering, he's interested in us. Okay, he or she.
Okay.
So when
Mm-hmm.
he answers, he knows about our culture, about the way we work, about the hierarchies we have. So it's like a pre-introductory session for a candidate for a number of days before he joins us. So on Zoho
Okay.
Recruit, we have got a platform where we have implemented complete gamification.
Mm-hmm. Fine. Any other strategy you have implemented?
Um, any other strategy, as in
Hmm?
what exactly are you hinting
Yeah, I mean to say, because nowadays, we know that like people are just shopping the offers in the market. So in that case, if we are offering to someone, but still there is no guarantee that that person will join on the joining day. After 3 months notice period or after 2 months notice period, we come to know that okay, that person have the another offer. So in that case, as a recruiter, it's a very crucial role. So from that point of view, I just would like to know like what kind of steps you are taking or
at?
what you're doing in your current organization.
Gamification takes care of this. So, at a point when he has stopped reverting to the queries or questions we ask, we know he is losing interest or must have got tied up too much into something. Then we get in touch with the person. Either recruiter will get in touch with the person or a reporting head if he knows.
Okay, but for example, if that person have the other offer in hand, and because of that he is not interested in this gamification or something in that way, so is there any tool through which you try to track that? Okay, what the issue that person is having, the location, regarding the salary, regarding the job profile. Maybe he would like to work on the different technology. From that point of view, have you have any action plan on this kind of things? Like, because there are various reasons for revoking the offers.
Yeah, so we keep tracking how, when last has the person been active on job sites, especially Naukri or Monster, from where we hire. And if there's some indication where we feel the person is going, so our offer letter already has the clause that once you accept the offer, you are supposed to join. Okay. And if you don't join, there are other things linked with it. Right. So, and no such cases happened yet. So every person who has said yes, the person wants to join the company, being good enough in market.
Okay. Okay, good. And how you're using social media nowadays?
Social
for recruitment, do you think that is helpful?
Yes, certainly. It's a network, so it's easy to reach right people through social media. Also to know the career history of a person, So
but you are doing something on social media?
Yes, we
do.
You
are searching people from social media?
Yes. We do have a page on LinkedIn, and the advertisements keep going there. Apart from LinkedIn, we are there on Glassdoor, where we keep pushing our advertisements. See, most of the sales recruitments happen through references. So our own sales people, when see other sales people working on field, and they tell us, this is a good person to have in our team, and the interview process starts. Apart from that, there's Naukri that we work on. So yes, social media we are using when say LinkedIn or Glassdoor is the place.
So Ruhi, are you done with the question?
Yeah, ma'am.
You're done? Okay. I'm actually taking another approach to make it a little more interesting, because if you complete all the 3 interviews, then what happens is we forget the data as well. So let us also do some kind of a discussion immediately after every interview.
Yep.
Okay. So because taking a cue from your questions and the data which is coming out, so we thought and some learning for us. Let me check with the person who was observing you. And I think it is Harsh.
Shamir.
Huh? Okay.
Shamir.
Yeah, Harsh, tell me.
Shamir.
Oh, that was okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Shamir, is it okay?
Yeah.
Tell me, Shamir.
See, all these questions, what you asked were some of straight questions. There's nothing much of
leading questions.
Okay. See, if, for example, is there any different strategy? You could have asked, okay, what are the other, tell me a strategy which you have adopted now for people who are revoking the offers. How are you going to contract on these kind of situation? And again, can you please share ideas? And there was no much. The ideas is this tool which he has shared. But you could have probed more. What you do in gamification? What does the employee the candidate doesn't answer that they are mute for 3-4 days? How do you track it? See, we can't track. See, if it's same way if you get into any other strategies. And the last question, how are you using social media? You could you should have asked the instance. Okay, tell me what are the steps or types of recruitment or sourcing you do in LinkedIn? How do you go about it? What do you do it? You could ask those questions.
Actually, what I thought, because might be she's not having that idea about social media. That's why I just give her idea about that. And from the in LinkedIn also, there are so many things where people are doing some different kind of activities.
Initially,
so
Leena
I was expecting something that kind of answer, but somehow
initially Leena told recruitment, I know, I'm fed up, I'm doing day in and day out. You didn't hear that. There was a scope of much probing questions to her, to Leena.
Right.
Okay, everyone
was very add to Shamir, if you've noticed, you couldn't gather much, Ruhi, from what she said. Okay, your intent, I could see that you wanted to know whether she was using social media, whether she had a strategy in mind in terms of, especially ultimately for a recruiter, what the yield in the funnel, the yield should be more. Or like, for example, if I have actually got 1,000 CVs, I should be able to at least get the yield of 50 to 6, 1:2 at least. Otherwise, the effort is too much, right? At the end of it, also at every, so you are looking at the yield. Do they have a strategy? Looking at channel partners. Where is the, so see, your intent was good, but you are not able to get that out from Leena, because she also was very smart. Like in what strategy? So see, like for example, very directed leading questions. Hey, do you think it is helpful?
Helpful, yeah.
Yes, I want a job. Yes, it is helpful. Do you use social media? Yes, I use social media.
Use LinkedIn.
Do you use LinkedIn? Yes, I. So this is called espousing what you want. Means I will say what you want. Okay, I may do things differently, but that's not what you want. You want to know the real Leena. What does she do in the recruiter role? And let me tell you, there are so many challenges. In fact, even a situation like you could have taken up, tell me at a time you are not able to actually, close your numbers. First of all, a breadth question. What are the kind of, numbers, at what levels is she looking at? You want to get an idea. Is she volume and how many, at what levels is she looking at more volume?
Targets.
Or does she do just 1 or 2 at, every month? Because let me tell you, when you hire a recruiter, bulk hiring people are different. Lateral hiring people are different. They misfit each other because they have different strategies.
Yes.
If you are only looking at entry level like a BPO, you have to have a different strategy for recruiting. So therefore, and then, so much more in terms of even, initiative, that creativity there for everything when you have a strategy, right? So much could have actually come out. But, somewhere when you ask the question, what you can't get, what you don't know, you can't ask. I put that slide, right? You have to know first of all. So there is one principle I say, begin with the, what is it? Can you complete the sentence for me? Begin with the end in mind. Means what is that you want? Then you can frame your question based on what is the outcome. Today, if you know, be it HR was activity driven, but today everybody wants what outcome results. I mean, they're not talking about all right, how many engagements have you done? How many satisfaction surveys have you done for HR? No, they want to know what the ROI, the outcomes out of it, right? If you have done something, what is the ROI? How has it impacted my business? So likewise, you could have asked many. So one is you didn't start with a breadth question. What is the breadth question? Anybody? Examples, breadth question examples.
How many people you hire in a year?
Tell me exactly. Yeah. Tell me about your past experience. Obviously, recruiter will say. Then tell me the kind of people, number of people, and what level are you hiring. That will give me an indication. So that's a breadth question. Then you can go further down, right? Oh, okay. If she says 60 per month or 100 per month, all right. So give me an instance. How did you manage? So how do you go? Or what kind of pressure she's having, or even to close those numbers, what kind of channels you would be using. Then you can keep probing further and further. Okay, all right, but Ruhi, still you've done a better job. Good, huh? I mean, but yes, of course, for everything there's always a progress,
yes. Right.
Okay, now you think Swati is ready?
Yes.
Swati, are you an interviewer now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, come. The candidate?
Yeah, ready, ma'am.
Alina. No, I'm just checking whether Swati got Dina as a candidate. Yeah. And you can start with telling her that what competency are you looking at? Communication and influence.
Yeah.
Great. It's a great competency. Yeah.
Okay. So hi, Leena. Very good afternoon. Sorry about my voice. I'm a little under the weather, so please bear with it. I hope all well at your end.
Hi, Swati. No issues. I'll bear with the voice issue.
Thanks. Great. So Lina, I'll tell you, I'm sure you've gone through the JD, but let me tell you what is the, responsibility that we are looking at to hire this incumbent in the HR recruiter or recruitment role, which is of course something that you would know, somebody who's had an experience in sourcing, rolling out offers, negotiating, having gathering requirements, manpower requirements from stakeholders, talking to stakeholders, getting their buy-in. So this is essentially what we are looking for in terms of roles and responsibilities. Does that sound any interesting to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Also, Lina, while I just want to mention that I'll be taking notes while you would be talking. So don't think that I'm not listening to you. I would definitely be. My ears would be here. Let me start with this, Lina. Now, can you tell me a situation where you've had a difficult time handling a conversation over a call?
In case with recruitment, I had I won't term it as difficult time having that conversation, but while we recruit, we need to gather all the data from a candidate, where what the current position is, what years of experience the person has got, what is current pay, so what is fixed, what is variable pay, what is incentive, and any other benefits the person is getting, whether that's matching with our requirement or not. Okay. And not all candidates are very transparent about it, to specifically. So one candidate I still remember of is I was in conversation with that person for 2 weeks, which is a very long period for me to close on an offer. So
2 weeks. So what role was this for?
This was for area sales manager.
Okay.
Mumbai.
Okay.
And the person we interviewed was highly qualified and was there in the market, while we had some negative review about the person from the other sources. So I had to know more about this person. Okay. And in the process, so I was asking for pay slips, I was asking for salary breakups, if any offer letter he has got of current organization. The previous organization he has worked with, I knew of, had done a pay restructuring just few months back as per information. So I was asking for that letter. He was not very open to give that. So,
okay. And what made you think that he was not open to giving this information?
Because from same organization, other candidates had got all those letters.
Okay.
But only from this candidate I was not getting, because what he had quoted was, what was not a right amount that he was actually speaking of, and what he actually got on the letter. So he never came back with that letter. And we knew what his pay was and everything.
Okay.
Because you get to see those pay slips otherwise also. That's the only thing. So two weeks we took to close on that offer. We finally closed that with a sister concern of ours on a different pay, because the candidate was of he was there in the market, he was, and we were stuck on pay with the organization we were looking at, but the other sister concern could take it at that pay.
So Lina, help me understand this. When you 2 weeks you had taken to kind of close this, so was it given to the same person who you're talking about? Was the position closed with that same person?
Yes, we closed with the same person, but for a sister concern, not for our organization.
Okay, so were you involved in that conversation for the sister concern?
The department in my current organization is like an umbrella where the sister concerns come under.
Okay, so let's go back a little. How did this conversation start, and what kind of conversation you had that you think made him or her join in and share that information, for that matter?
Yeah, so post his technical interview, I call it technical because it was more about market and how he covers and what all outlets he covers and how he gets the stock available. So post that interview, when the reporting head who was supposed to have him in his team was ready for him, and then we started negotiating. So I asked for his payslip and his CTC breakup, and he did not give that, so we kept asking for it again and again, but he came back saying, ma'am, my company is not giving me this, but I'm keen on joining. So the conversation went on like for 1.5 weeks, and at the end of second week then he accepted that he cannot give the CTC breakup because what he had quoted was different, and then we offered him in different sister concerns.
So what was your role here, Lena? You said that, we kind of spoke to him and we closed this. What was your role in this conversation?
When I say we, it's me and reporting head.
Okay.
So
So did you have that communication with the person, or your reporting head was also involved?
only I was involved. Reporting head cannot get involved with these conversations. Because
Okay.
we handle the candidate later, actually one-on-one. So we don't get reporting heads involved in negotiations.
Okay. Okay. Fair. Okay. So can you tell me some instances of that conversation that you remember, which made you feel that, this
Another
is...
1 minute, Swati, and then probably we can close the. Yeah.
So can you tell me of an instance where, a particular maybe call or conversation or statement, any such thing which you remember, that this person said, which made you feel that, okay, now, we can close it, or the person is ready to go ahead?
So I was asking for payslip, which he did not give. Then I asked for his offer letter or appraisal letter that he did not give. Then I asked for his offer letter. He did give because it was 2 years back and it showed a different figure. But appraisal letter he did not give. Then I told him that there is a salary restructuring letter that all the staff have got of the organization, so he must be having it. Where then he again took 2 days time, then he came back saying, ma'am, I really need this job, but I cannot give you that restructuring letter because the company has deducted our 20% or 30% of pay because of pandemic. So that's how he was hiding, that's why he was hiding this information basically.
Okay.
So finally we so when he confronted this, that is when we decided that whatever he's telling is truth. He was hiding because he really needed the job and he did not want to join at a lesser pay. Then we decided to pay him higher than what he was getting before those deductions. We
Okay.
that, and we could offer that amount in different sister concern where we could which is an importer. So there the
Okay.
payment is little higher than the distributor end.
All right. So we're going to put a stop here and then check with Swati as to what question did she ask, for what purpose, the purpose of the question, and what was the outcome then. Right? You asked questions, right? So what was your intent or the purpose? And then did the intent meet the outcome?
So the purpose of my questioning was to check how is the communication, or how good is the interviewee in influencing during the conversation. That was the focus that I had in mind.
Okay.
And
so how would you check this if you wanted to? In what kind of an instances would you check? What kind of situations or what kind of events were you looking at?
So I was looking for instances where there were difficulties, or there was not a straight outcome for the interviewee. Like Lena was talking about this situation. So ideal situation would have been that the person would have shared all the information, and the recruiter would have closed it. But here there was a problem where the outcome was, she was not able to achieve the end result immediately, and it required a lot of maybe communication with the other person.
Okay.
So that's what I was looking for.
Before I actually go to the next phase of this continued question, what there are other ways of asking questions for this to test her communication? I'm asking the observers and even others. Anybody can respond to this. So here was Swati, evaluating a competency called communication influencing. Okay. And she asked questions, right? What the other ways, better ways of asking these questions to Leena to elicit or gather evidence from Leena on this competency?
Is it a right way to have a role play kind of a thing? What are, if I am a candidate, if assume I am a candidate, Swati could have asked that, I am a candidate, could you let's have a conversation.
No, but here, typically, you could do that in an assessment center. Say, in role play, you don't want to get into a role play. But what are the other ways of asking questions?
Those kind of questions can be given. If I am a candidate, how will you go about it? Closing this offer, what are the things you ask?
Okay.
So that case, the discussion, the probing will go on. For some time, we can get the details.
Okay. Anybody else? Any?
We would have given a situational example, like if anyone is denying the offer, in that case, how you are going to deal with that situation?
Who is this?
Shrikant.
Shrikant. So instead of saying anybody, tell me at a time, the last time when somebody has refused the offer, because it is not that a recruiter won't have such scenarios. Tell me there will be only sometimes 20% joinees vis-a-vis, the number of appointment letters which have gone. Tell me at a time when you had a very critical position whose order had gone and the person has actually refused, and you're asking a real incident, and how did you go about? Right? Absolutely right, Shrikant. No? Because influencing is what, either a situation where people have to take up that offer and join, or influencing in terms of I'm actually wanting a higher salary or higher benefits, negotiating kinds. So how can you influence that? Hey, this is a great job. This is a great. So you want to see how is she managing to communicate with respect to career, with respect to everything, saying that it's a great fit. So then, trying to tell he or she to take up the job. So essentially, when we are looking at behavioral indicators, what kind of indicators are you looking at? We're typically looking at both, the non-verbal and also the verbal, right? In terms of, especially, I would say, how crisp, clarity of communication. How is she communicating? No, so you want to hear that verbatim conversation. Hey, so the last time when you had to influence this person to ensure that she joins, what all did you say? How did you go about? No, Swati.
Yeah.
But what happened? You got stuck with difficult conversation. So difficult conversation was understood differently with Leena also. So she was not able to catch up with it. Yeah, understood, but didn't know.
I have an input. Many a times when there's someone is speaking on one topic specifically again and again and again and again, and then you don't know what more to say about it, and then you just, then
repeat. Yeah, you end up repeating.
So that's why, in fact, I told Swati, okay, fine, let us stop at this, because I was wanting to make you kind of, say, hey, so you are not able to come out of that, that. So other ways of actually conveying the same question, because now the candidate is not able to comprehend also when you are saying difficult conversation. So can I put it in a different way? Because if you are saying the same thing, will she understand? No. Many times it will happen. You as a candidate or I as a candidate, if I'm not able to comprehend, then if he's still repeating the same thing, then I better say, sir, I think I'll pass. I'm not able to understand. Right? So you have to put it in different words to make it understand. Okay. All right. Then there was, so you got that. Okay. So there are many ways, communication. I mean, how does she actually tell us a time when you are actually describing, for a recruiter, communication becomes very important, right? From clarifying on the job description, career for that role, then salary, and then breakup of those salaries. So, I mean, there's a lot more in terms of communication. Okay.
Yeah,
How does
even
she go
with
about
the
explaining the entire thing? How does she sell the job?
right. On the other hand, the recruiter's relation with the hiring manager and interviewers are also very important. For example, like we call a candidate and forget to schedule an interview with the interviewer. But now we can't just like that, let go candidate back home. So should be able to convince the hiring manager and the interviewer to take that interview.
So these are those real situations wherein you can actually start probing, etc. Because behavioral competencies are many there. Initiativeness, creativity. Okay. All right. Now there's one more person I think who had to. We finished with Swati. We finished with
Kalyan.
Kalyan. Yes. So Leena, please. Now Kalyan is going to ask you all technical.
Like few seconds, because I think
1 minute.
Will ring shortly if there's Amazon agent. So
no problem. Please go ahead.
Might be offer letter also.
Not offer letter, it may be joining kit. Goodies.
Yeah. True.
Goodies, right?
Actually.
So I want to give you all.
So we are all losing at least.
I want to give you all input. So when we do a competency-based interview, I told you that for this process, what things are important: the role, the competency framework, and also the behavioral indicators. So the behavioral indicators also will be marked as I need at a proficiency level of 2 or level 3 or so. Now, every interviewer has to actually look at that, see what is required, and then start framing all the questions much beforehand, because they have to be definitely in alignment with those indicators required. So when you have an understanding of what is required, then when the person talks about it, you are also framing a question to check whether he or she has this kind of a competency. Okay, that's why I always say begin with the end in mind. Okay, yeah. The other competency which Kalyan had to check was, what is that?
Technicalities,
right? Yeah. So you can start with the questions, Kalyan, so that we all can actually hear what are the questions.
So questions, okay. See, ma'am, my plan is to start with like
Yeah, she'll be there in a minute. Have you written down all the questions?
I have tried to take down some of the questions who I'm planning to ask.
Okay. Just a minute.
very sorry.
No problem. Yeah.
You can send us Amazon gifts.
Feels really nice. It's like you're gifting yourself something.
Yes, Kalyan. All set.
Okay. Yeah. So, Leena, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So, Leela, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay, fine. So I think it was not difficult to come to office.
Yeah. Yes.
So how far is it from your how far is your home from this office?
From your office, my house is like on 30 minutes, I think. There must be public transport, but meanwhile, there's a car that I can come in.
Okay. Why I'm asking, because I said this position is a recruiter, and that person may have to stay long, and in the evening the person may have to work for long hours. So the distance always matters.
Yes.
specifically in the evening. So that is why, okay. So Lina, since you have already worked as recruiter, tell something your previous background.
Yes, so I have worked with 3 to 4 organizations where I have handled recruitment, and it's been right since entry level till the highest level of interview I've taken is of CFO. So handled positions throughout the hierarchy and even throughout the department. So almost all the positions I've covered.
So this was a type of profile you have actually managed. What are the systems you have used in your company or in your last companies?
Okay.
How you have rather used the platform? What were the platforms?
Yeah.
Maybe what kind of technologies have you
Technologies.
used or platforms? Yeah.
So we do use Zoho Recruit in current organization, where the complete candidate database is pulled as per requirement of the position, is shortlisted there, candidates are called, and even online interviews, like we use Google Meet, we have interviews on Zoho Recruit itself. So where we have all the interviewers like reporting heads or vertical heads or function heads, and myself in the interview and the candidate.
So how do you source CVs?
We do post our advertisements on LinkedIn, on Indeed. So if we put it on Indeed, we get from number of sources through Indeed. And then we call those candidates. That is one way of getting it. If it's a campus, if it's freshers that we're looking at, then campuses is what we do. We have tied up with those institutions and good relations with them. So once in a year, we do campus.
So what is your background? I mean, how conversant you are in computerized environment? I mean, high-end environment. I mean, what are the systems you have used? System, I'm talking about the laptop, computer, and what are the base? I mean, what is the system in the sense of OS?
Yeah. So I use normally, I am well versed with MS Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. I even do reports on Power BI, which is a high-end tool of Microsoft, where we do all the analytics of all the data we have got. Very good with Excel because it's a base to analyze any data that we have got. I am very well versed with like Microsoft, even this thing.
Okay.
What is that
By
other?
the way,
Yeah.
have you ever worked in any LAN or SAP environment?
Yes, my laptop is connected on LAN of the office, and even if I'm working from home, I can access the drive. So we have shared drives as well.
Okay. So as you know, all CVs are confidential. So how do you preserve all these CVs?
It's on my laptop, and I have a drive, external drive, where I store the CVs so that if anything happens to the laptop, the data is safe of an organization.
Okay. So as you said, you have already worked in LinkedIn, maybe in other platforms also. Normally in our company, we use some more. So do you know how to use those like Naukri, Monster, how to register and how to upload CVs, the requirement?
Yes. So we do have Naukri portal with us. So when we work with a bigger organization, it's easy and it's feasible to buy a Naukri login as such, where being say 1.5 lakh and getting that portal accessible to you. But if the organization is not that big and needs a shared login, I have contacts for that. We do use shared logins also, where we don't post the advertisements. So currently what we're doing, we don't post the advertisements, but we search through resumes and call relevant candidates.
Okay. So are you conversant with very specific, very crucial, like some Java programmer, this and that? I mean, those are not available in the market normally in any source. So what is your experience in sourcing those profiles?
No, sir, I am not. I don't work on IT recruitments. So I have never worked on Java recruitments.
I know. So I'm changing to Java to some HR. I am looking for, suppose, one particular HR person who is very much having combination of CNV, IR. I mean, in the IR environment, the person is having CNV experience also and good in PMS.
Okay.
You have to find this. You have to source this CV.
So certification of IR, which is Industrial Relations certification, plus a course of CNV, and a relevant experience of CNV, plus a general
merit.
Yes, yes.
So that will be your last question, Kalyan. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I can source these positions.
Since you have already seen the JD, what do you think your current job entirely matches with our JD?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get the question.
You have already seen our JD, the JD of this particular profile you are for. Now tell me how, as per you, how you match yourself with that particular JD.
Okay. So apart from non-technical, apart from technical positions, I think I can do all the work that is mentioned in JD, and I match with the JD that way. While you are the one to judge if I really match.
Okay. Last question. My last question. What do you think? Why should we take it?
Yes. So we have. Number of recruitments we do is always to fit in a job profile, but I feel we must always look at candidates who take organization to next level, and that is what I can ensure you about in case you be.
Okay.
Okay.
All the best.
Okay. So can we have some kind of Kalyan? So what some of the questions? What was the purpose of these questions? In the sense, did you gather evidence, or did you get what you really wanted by asking these questions? Was it familiarity with technology, or was it knowledge about technology, or was it just listing out all the technologies? So what was the intent? Or proficiency in technology for some key technologies?
Who is the observer? I think Shrikant.
Yeah, anybody else before I actually kind of make my own comments? I want others also, because this is a learning forum. Yeah. So for a recruiter role, technology becomes very, very important. So if you are working in any particular organization, and especially in the large ones, so there will be certain organization specific or in-house platforms where they would be working on. So how would you like to test this, a person, whether it's familiarity or whether a person knows? So how would you go about when it comes to technology? Because for recruiter, technology also becomes very, very critical. Okay. Yeah. And I would put it as a functional skill, and also as it's a skill, more of a skill. Yeah.
It's so a key skill.
How would you evaluate the skill?
Yeah, it's a key skill, and there are a few things that we can ask very specific. Like we use ATS.
And I'm giving an open. Will you just ask question, or will you use any other method?
Yeah, I believe the question should be around how we gather a report or analyze different reports from ATS. Mm-hmm. What kind of reports that they generate, and these recruiters are evaluated. Right. Because we use the ATS mainly to measure the performance, right, from sourcing profile till the joining and performance of the recruiters end to end. So the questions around that would help. And secondly, what are the different ways of searching profiles in social media? For example, use of strings or use of some Boolean search and different types of search. So would I have asked more specific questions on technology that are involved in recruitment?
Absolutely. So if you notice, Kalyan, you were stressing more on whether she has heard. It's like, listing. Do you know about this technology? Do you know about this technology? I will obviously say, yes, I know, but you are not getting into probing further into whether, she knows to use them.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, application tracking system. You could have also gone ahead and ask, what kind of platform do you use for ATS? Right? How do you go about it? What are some of, how many, typically to know the scale and size of her operation in terms of recruitment profile, you could also ask how many CVs does she source? Right? Typically, what is the kind of a yield rate?
Yeah.
And also, that's why I said, Harsh. So I would actually say, hey, because a skill is something you need to do it. So I would say, okay, fine. Can you, if they have any in-house software, will she be able to actually be familiarized with the technology? Just like a payroll guy, I'll ask him to operate a spreadsheet. I'll tell him, why don't you do it? Because for a content writer, I will give her a small piece of work to do the content development. For a trainer, I will say, okay, fine, do a 10-minute session. No, she may be saying, I know this, how to do it. But when she does a session, I will know how she will do question handling, right? Objection handling. How does she manage audience? How does she speak? How does she communicate? Facilitation skills. Everything I will know in about 30-minute session. Okay. So need not be just a question. So because this is skill, obviously you will have to actually do it as a skill-based test. Any other suggestions from anybody else when you are actually assessing skills, guys? Technical in this context.
Maybe we could give some specific challenges. Maybe in the company, somebody has faced a challenge while working or using a software or any of these portals, which was maybe difficult to crack, or it took time for them to, understand what was the problem. So maybe give that like a situation.
The best is to pose that problem and ask them to do
Ask them question. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Many times. Like, for example,
How do you
in
like
his role as an IR manager,
Hmm.
a lot of times this wage negotiation and union wage settlement. So when you are actually hiring an IR manager, you don't ask him, hey, how good are you at union negotiations? You literally take him through and see whether he is able to do that, because negotiation is a skill, and any amount of questions you ask, you won't be able to test that. Okay, guys. So I want to leave at least 10 minutes because this is your last session, to ask different kind of questions in the entire, all the 4 sessions, so that you are able to get clarification on the entire thing. And then then whatever the last project you have to do, then you will be able to do it.
Just one
Vilma,
small
please.
point, right? Whenever you're doing a skill test, either it is for IT or non-IT. If you're doing it for IT specifically, then do take a IT test, on those specific tools. Will help you to assess to what proficiency level the candidate is in that particular tool. Second, if it is a non-IT position, then do ask questions like recent event, not any vague or any generalized event, but recent past event, which they can remember and they can accurately narrate the entire situation and the outcomes. So that will again help you to, if they have not done, that means they are not familiar with it to that extent. If they have done it, then definitely they will be able to answer. Right?
Correct. Yes.
What are some of the skill-based tests one can do? Various. Yes, Ruhi. What are some of this? This is a question because we are passing through skill. What are some of the skill-based tests one can do?
Skill-based.
For any, I mean, just list out some skill-based tests. We
Yeah.
talked about it. That's why I'm asking you.
Accounting knowledge test we do.
Entry exercise is a skill-based test, no? For
Entry,
testing
yes,
out
yes,
the
yes,
time
yes.
management and planning and all that stuff.
Right.
And then productivity meetings in terms of you give, you know, that's also again a kind of a skill-based test. What else?
Role play.
Role plays, social events, fact-finding exercises,
Fact-finding.
ability tests, group exercises, presentations, all these are skill-based tests. Okay. Then if you want to do filtration at a knowledge level, typically when you go to campuses, what do?
Written test.
Knowledge-based tests. Based on that, you actually
Aptitude
do the
test.
filtration. Okay. And then if you want to do test for behaviorals, you can always give a psychometric.
Psychometric test. Yeah.
Psychometric test.
Because if you notice, most of these multinationals give you a web-based psychometric test before anything. They want to see the cultural fitness. Not that you are a bad candidate or a good candidate, but they want to see that, you know, whether you fit into their culture. It could be a myth, it could be anything, but still. Gallup does it. Google also, I think, does it. So there are several companies which do this. Okay. So I want to leave 10 minutes so that you can actually ask me questions, so that it will help you, you know, in whatever, because this is your last session. So specifically, I kept those 10 minutes.
And there was Johari window also.
Pardon?
There was Johari window.
Johari window, yeah.
For today?
In the notes, I saw.
Yeah, that was in the first session.
Just like today.
Clarification, I want to give one.
Yeah.
Fire OB. Okay. All of you have done Fire OB?
Yes.
Okay. You've also done some kind of, I mean, you have done your scoring?
Yes, I have done my
The
scoring.
scoring key is already there. Okay. So I want to do an hour or an hour and a half, okay, for your Fire OB. I will just recheck all your scores, look at it, and give you some input on that. Okay.
Yes.
Because I will have to check again on that. Then at the same time that day, if you want Johari, how does it help? I can also do the Johari window for you.
Okay.
Because Johari and Fire OB especially, it's going to really help. Because
yes,
Fire OB is fundamental interrelationship orientation, and it is actually on those inclusion, control, and affiliation on both expressed and wanted. So high scores, low scores, and what happens if you have a high score, if your profile is in such a way, what exactly happens, where do you displace it, and it's going to help you professionally in being very, very efficient in your role. So that's one thing which I'm going to give you as a 1 hour session that day. Based on your scores, everybody will get a specific personal kind of a feedback and input on that. Okay. Anything else, guys? We can talk about it.
And how was disk analysis helpful?
Which one?
Disk
analysis.
Disk analysis. I don't do. I am a certified disk analyst, but I don't do because it's very expensive.
Expensive.
Doesn't make you have to buy the
software with the dongle. Even I am a certified in Thomas Disk and PI, but it's all expensive.
Yeah, so am I, but it's very expensive, so I don't use it. But yes, maybe I can touch upon the factors and what is disk and how does it help. But yes, report and test, it becomes a little difficult.
Yeah,
because you have to actually take the report from
report. You get on 12 to 13 pages.
Report is very complicated, ma'am. This report. We are not able to understand. Sometimes we can
usually used to do for senior profile recruiting. Before that, we used to tell them to take this test. Senior means like what? Manager, senior manager, CFO. We used to take this profile.
But in the current times, especially in the US, which is going to follow here, if you have already seen, when I used to work, okay, there were times when most of the things were being done in psychometrics. Okay, so that's how In fact, I'm very passionate about psychometrics. But now, in US, and which is coming here, because most of the multinationals will follow the policy of US, right? If you're a Google and you're working here, obviously you will follow. So now what is happening is that because there is this parity law, discrimination law, so how are they looking at psychometrics? It is becoming legal. That by using psychometrics, you are actually discriminating.
Correct.
So organizations don't want to get into that legality. So they now that psychometrics even for development has gone down a lot. So you will see a lot of organizations actually not using psychometrics. It is still in India prevalent to some extent, but not much as it used to be there earlier. And as you know that because of the the constant market forces, dynamic forces changing so much, so organizations have felt that taking into consideration spending so much of money in psychometric doesn't really pay them off.
Yes.
Because, like for example, in my times we used to do team building, and we used to do that the entire process of team building. But today you are hired and you are into a team. You have to quickly adapt to the team. So you are looking more at what adaptation, how will you adapt to the new environment? So where is that time for team formation, forming, what is it? I also
storming, performing,
storming, forming, all that we don't talk about so much, which we talked about earlier, right?
And that is why attrition has gone up.
The needs have changed. Now what you are put in a team, everything, and maybe in a month you will have a get together. That's where they assess the team adaptability. That's what is done currently.
Yeah, let's talk about more concepts which we have done.
Now, just like today we got this CBI PDF. Is there anything available in terms of list of competencies, and these are the behavior indicators, something a glossary kind of thing?
Yes.
You see, today's was quite a big one, and Vilma has loads of input.
Yes, those who have, will now be completing the competency mapping assessment program will be given a competency-based interviewing manual. Right, which has listed competencies for early career level, mid-career level, senior career level. So very clearly and categorically it is given. You can use those competencies. It has the questions, it has the desired answers along with the bars. So that will be very handy for you. Besides that, you can add other competencies as per your organizational requirement, but those specific competencies are must for those levels. Yes. So immediately you can identify. You need not look here and there in the Google. You can just pick up those competencies and start working on it.
In fact, because of the kind of longitudinal research which has been done in the area of competency mapping, and also it was McClelland who did a great amount of work in BEI. Okay, so when he did BEI, which is called behavioral event interviewing, okay, this was done primarily by David McClelland and some of our Indian gurus who are like TV Rao and somebody else. Even my batchmate had gone to take some input from McClelland. Now, what happened when what is BEI? You are trying to gather evidence in a person, from the critical incidents which are high or low. Okay, essentially. Let me give you a little more about this BEI concept. So what happened initially was that, say for example, I want to actually find out what are those leadership competencies, or what are those competencies for, say production managers or some roles which are stable. They don't change. Now, just hear me out. Then what did they do? They studied say about 100, a large population of both good performers and also poor performers. They took two groups. And when they did this BEI, now this BEI is not for a competency-based interview. Initially, when I said competencies can be role specific, competencies is also in a person. So when they went around talking to these superior performers of, say, for example, entrepreneurs or maybe production managers or some, so what did they do? Then they did extensive BEIs with a group of people wanting to know their highs and lows, situations. So what actually made them to succeed? Then they listed down all the competencies. Okay. Then they found out they did the same thing with the average or the low performers. Then they were able to contrast and then say, hey, these leadership competencies, or these are the competencies if you want to succeed. But initially, predominantly, it was actually done for the entrepreneurs, that if you have these competencies, you will succeed. This is like, if you eat this, you will put on weight. If you don't eat this, you will not put on weight. Okay. So there were a list of competencies which were done. Then what happened? All of you should read this book. There is this person called Poyatis, Poyatzis, who wrote this book called Competent Manager. Because initially the competency movement and everything was done only for entrepreneurs. Then he said, hey, after some time, he said, hey, what are those competencies which work very well for managers? What are those competencies which make managers successful, superior performers? Then he took many 150 organizations, looked at the managers, studied the competencies, went through the BEIs, behavior event exercises, again, high performers, low performers. And then he said, hey, these are those competencies which are there in people, in managers who are very successful. You should read this book, beautiful book. You getting me? So when I talk about initially this behavioral event interview, it was like, say, for example, I will sit with Shamir. If he's a real super duper performer, I want to know through the BEI, what are those competencies which made him successful in his life? Are you getting me, guys? Now, once I know them, then if I'm able to inculcate those things in others, then your predictability of saying that if you have these, surely you can at least likelihood of becoming a superior performer. Got it? Now, when I'm doing competency-based interview, you are using this technique of BEI, but in the context of that particular competency. You're not trying to explore the competencies, like, for example, what are the competencies Leena has? No, you may have a great creativity, but probably for my role, I don't need creativity. I need 3 competencies, whether you have or not. I'm checking out that. Are you with me?
Got it.
So guys, whether sometimes you may or may not have the role specific competencies, but what I typically say is, go by your innate. What is your strength? Strength is actually a competency, no? So you'll be very, very successful, because some people, you can't teach a lot to a great extent creativity. Creativity comes from within, okay?
Within, yes.
So therefore, there are certain things, like, for example, you can't teach a person, I feel, attention to details. Right? You can't teach a person, you can teach to a certain extent listening, but not to a great extent, because listening again is also another behavioral competency. Okay? Because, you can do it as a skill, but there could be other noises which are happening within him. He's a person who is not centered. There are many other things. So therefore, I always say that, first of all, discover yourself, know yourself more, understand yourself, understand what is that, within you. You have those innate kind of competencies. And if you start working with, with those things, you'll be highly successful. So guys, I think you are a great team. Okay. And you fix up a day with Wilma. Any day. Saturday will be a very convenient day. We can do it on a Saturday.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah,
is
that's
okay
fine.
with you all. Next Saturday.
Yeah, fine.
Wilma, are you okay with it?
Yeah, I'm fine. Either Saturday or Sunday, we'll keep
Next
the.
Sunday go morning.
Okay.
program is
Okay.
fine.
So Saturday, same time, 2:30.
Yep.
We will
No,
have the
Wilma
session.
prefers after post lunch.
It's convenient for me as well.
Okay.
What time? Sorry.
2:30.
2:30. Okay.
Same time.
Right.
Hmm.
So we won't put a time limit. We will complete everybody's profile. And we'll do an extensive, thorough introspection as well. Okay.
Sure.
So guys, have a great time till then, and wish you all good luck. And I hope these 4 sessions help you in some way, and you'll be able to actually build your careers.
Yes. Definitely, these 4 sessions were very helpful because what we knew here and there, you actually brought a thread that connected everything and made us more competitive. We have to practice more because this is not something easy that
read
we
more.
Just,
I would always recommend read more.
Read
more.
Read and
more. Observe more.
Right.
Not, these things. These are not like skills. Above the waterline. You have to get into the water.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And also we were all connected through another thread. Great, yeah.
Yeah, because you actually helped us to understand that 80% which is under the water.
We have used most of the things in. I'm talking about my personal thing. I've used most of the things, but little bit. So this gave me a thing. I related each event, each assignment related to my previous job, previous incident, and developed it. So got it. And moreover, I was just recollecting how I was selected through a BI years back, 5 years before. It was the interview went for 1 week to select for HR manager position, and that was an external consultant from XLRI. So I was just visualizing how my BI as competency-based interview happened. So just visualizing it's need more of practice, reading. You need to keep doing this and to learn this or be a proficient in this. So this will help me.
No, constant practice will only make you perfect.
Yes.
And I think most of you showed a lot of commitment and ownership to whatever you have done. So in a way, I guess today I feel that you all know each other so well.
Yeah.
Your public self about yourself is also enlarged. So that's a good thing. Okay. So thank you guys. Wonderful to have you all. Each and every one of you. I think I fondly remember all of you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you.